Welcome back to this channel, and this talk is going to be, or this input is all about momentum multiplier. So you becoming the momentum multiplier for your business into 2025, and it's all about kickstarting the first stage of the year, i.e. the first 30 days, for example, with an extra boost to focus and realign yourself on certain tasks or actions that might have been pushed to the side or forgotten about, and we can start to then bring them back into what you're doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to really just boost into the year in the best way possible. So I'm going to run through how this works, the framework for it, and get you to think about some big questions as well as you go through this, and then share with you a worksheet as well that you can take away and actually use on this as well. So let me get into it before we start, and I'm just going to share my screen with you so we can see what's going on. So here we go. So yeah, as we mentioned, kickstarting your coaching success into 2025. So first big question to ask yourself today is, if 2024 was a chapter in your business story, what would the title be? Okay, now it's quite a big question. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it was good, bad, indifferent, lots of things in between, but really it's setting the tone for, okay, what was 2024 like, and okay, what's that going to give me a platform to push off into in 2025? So thinking back, how was the year? What things happened? Was it a bit of a growth year? Was it a bit of a year where you've just kind of maintained? Was there some struggles and pain in that year as well? What kind of happened? So think about it, okay? So first big question for you. Then, getting into this is what the momentum multiplier is all about. It's about small, consistent actions that are going to compound into massive results over time. That's the key here. So we're thinking about how can we put these little daily tasks, weekly tasks in action, and that has compound interest over time. So these are the things that you don't really see some kind of payoff straight away, but also they're the things that we know we should be doing day in and day out. And this is what this will help you to define and put in place, okay? So first, before we get into it, a little bit of reflection and reset on where you are now. So think about the biggest wins of 2024 and try and get them down in terms of business, coaching, personal development, life. What were the biggest wins? And then also, what held you back as well? Think about the things that you had happen, whether that was out of your hands or not, that have held you back from really pushing, because it's important to recognize those as well, because any of those setbacks or struggles are only things that we can use to catapult yourself forwards into this year. So yeah, think about it. You can pause this now, like really have a think about like what these were, and then get into it. And then I want you to start to think about, what is your North Star goal? So what is the main big goal for you going into 2025? So if you get to the end of 2025, this is the big overarching goal that has been ticked off. You're obviously going to have lots of different things you want to achieve, but if you were to get to the end and you're like, that's the one thing that happened, how would you feel? Okay, so think about what that is, and then write that down. So for example, like, we want to be the biggest or the best mentoring business for ethical minded coaches. My writing is terrible. For example, that's one of the things that we want to do. So we get to the end of next year and we've cemented ourselves in that, then I'll be happy. You're more than happy, right? So think about that, get your North Star goal down, and then we're going to talk about the framework here, so how this happens. So there's going to be 3 core areas to this. There is your visibility here, and then there is your engagement here, and then there is your conversions. Cool. Here. Now, each of these are columns, pillars. Within those, there's set things as well. So within each column, we have things that you can work on in the framework. So visibility is things like, where are you going to be visible? Okay, what platforms? Social media, emails, blogs, articles, wherever it is. So, and then like, how does that work? What is it going to be? Is it going to be content, emails, articles? Like, what happens? How's that going to work? How often is it going to happen? So that kind of thing. So visibility. Then thinking about your engagement, it's more about, okay, messages. How many messages, or how will that work? It's going to be things like lead magnets. Okay, what are they? How does that going to work? Might be ads in there. But then these all play back into one another. So they all kind of work from one side to the other, because the visibility is going to increase your engagement, right? And vice versa. And then your conversions are things about thinking about, okay, how many calls do I want? Do I want to even do calls? Do I want to sell through chat? Do I want to use documents? Like, what does it look like in terms of that? But then this is all feeding from here. All of this feeds over to here. You'll see. And that, in a way, is it's your 3 core pillars for this momentum framework. But you're getting clear on what you want to put into each one, which is what we're going to do now, and then not doing too many. This is the key, right? So as soon as we start to put too many into the space, you're trying to do loads of different things, and then what you do is you spread yourself too thin, and nothing really gets done, or nothing really drives momentum because it's too much going on. So from a visibility point of view, think about here, what are the things that you want to do to become visible? E.g., like, are you going to do a weekly live, a reel series? You might do an email series. You might do a mini course. You might want to write some blogs like once a week. Whatever it is, like, commit to one consistent action. So you're going to do obviously quite a few things, but if you can just commit to one, so that if you have a week where it's not gone great, or it's things that come up, you can still say that you'll get it done. So just try and think about the one thing that you can commit to here. And then when we get into the engagement, so for example, what's that going to look like in terms of like the conversations for the week? How's it going to work? Are you going to run like your lead magnets and have like a cycle for how they work? Are you going to run ads which will then promote this lead magnet? But then also, is there a process to follow up and speak to these leads as well? So how does that work? And again, set an action for that. So if it's DM conversations weekly, how is that going to happen? Is it going to be off the back of the organic content you create, or like I say, you're going to have some kind of paid marketing process in place? And then the visibility, the conversion, sorry, is where we're thinking about what's that action that you're going to take in the next 30 days that's going to have a positive outcome for the business. So that's going to be revolve around an offer, or micro offer, something like that, within the next 30 days, and put a date on it. You know, I'll put that example there as the 15th, but use something that's going to give you a bit of impetus to go, right, I'm going to do this by this date, but I need to have all these assets in place. This is what I need to get done, and I need to do the other actions here in the lead up to it, right? So they all work together, like we've been saying. So spend a bit of time going through each one and thinking about what it looks like. The momentum multiplier worksheet is linked in here. I've also put it in the description box below, so if you want to grab that. And I want to talk a little bit about how it works from a compound perspective, because when we think about the compound perspective, all this stuff working together, you've got your content here, and then you've got things like lead magnet here, you've got like conversations, you've got ads here, might have DMs here, might do like blogs, all these things, right? Then you might not do all of these, but every single one has, they all tie into each other. So without having this, if one is not being shown up in the cycle, in the flywheel, it almost then puts strain on the others, because they all tie into each other, and they all play onto each other. So where you've got your content be supporting the lead magnet and vice versa, and the conversations from the lead magnet vice versa, conversations from blogs, DMs from blogs, from ads, all this plays a part in each other. And once one of these is taken out, then it becomes, say for example that's gone, then that weakens the whole of the process. So that's why it's important that when we go back to here and we've got core tasks, try not to do too many with these, and just think about like the first like main movers for your business and the things that you can commit to consistently, and do those, and then don't do anything else. So think about that, and I want you to then write down an action right now. What action are you going to take within the next 24 hours to make sure that this has positive impact into 2025. So what is that one action you're going to take? And that is it. Thank you very much for being here. Hope you found it useful. Please let me know if you've got any questions in the description below, and I'll happily answer them. And you'll find the link to the worksheet in there as well, which has more questions to help you out with building momentum into 2025. So as always, if you found this useful, please just like it below. It helps the algorithm, it helps more people find our stuff. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do, because I'm going to be putting out more videos like this every single week, especially through 2025. And I will see you on the next one.